From Member of Congress Peter H. Kostmeyer, these words: "You are most deserving of the honor being bestowed upon you this evening. You have dedicated your life to your fellow men through your commitment in the classroom and later through your service on the Upper Moreland School Board, the Commission of Standards and Practices, the Montgomery County AIDS Task Force, and Cinekyd's Board of Trustees." And the concluding paragraph from this citation, dated the 18th of October, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. These things are always so beautiful. Aren't they sharp? "Now, therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania heartily congratulates Romeo Masucci on the great honor which has been bestowed upon him, notes with pride, gratitude, and respect his inestimable contributions to the betterment of society, offers best wishes for the continuation of his noble humanitarian endeavors." In the program that you have this evening, our creator of much of the material, Mr. John Peterson, noted a line that I thought was fantastic. "Over the past 15 years, Cinekyd has endured the valleys and rejoiced at the peaks. You young people will discover that other than your parents, it is only your best of friends who will stick with you when you hit the valley. As low as you go, as dark as it gets, as lonely as it gets, all the people who tell you that the idea was stupid, that the kids aren't worth the effort, that it will cost too much, that the insurance is too high, that there's not enough money for the rent, that the kids have broken another camera, that the landlord wants to increase the rent, that everybody and his brother feels that nonprofit organizations, if they're not subsidized by the federal government, won't survive. If you ever go through any kind of valleys, you look to your left and right. And my grandfather used to say that if you can count all of your friends on one hand, you're lucky. I have been fortunate enough to have more than that. And one of them we honor this evening because he stepped forward repeatedly at the most important times, and I don't think he ever realized how important his friendship was to me and to you. Cinekyd continued because of his personal contribution. I say to you and I say to your parents, other than the staff and the board, other than my family, probably the finest person that I have ever met or ever known in my life is the recipient of this first award, our first humanitarian award for lifelong accomplishments which have enriched all of our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Mr. Romeo Masucci.
I'm in tears, ladies and gentlemen. Truly overwhelmed. I want to spend a short period of time thanking so many people. Michael, thank you for bringing the celebrities and your humor. Roger, thank you for chairing this evening's program. Joe, thank you for your introduction of the youngsters. I believe in particular your son was one of them. Gene Weaver, thank you for being chairperson of the Cinekyd board. Mr. and Mrs. Bob Clark Sr., thank you for having Bob Jr. Thank you. I know I'm going to forget some people. I would like to introduce for the second time to the public. They were introduced here. They were married July 13th, and they had their affair here. I would like to introduce for the second time my daughter and my son-in-law, Mr. and Mrs. Jack and Joanne Costello. I'd like to thank Richard for winning the Apollo Award. Well deserved. Thank you. Particularly, I couldn't have asked for a better arrangement than when I was teaching 33 years ago that I started. This evening is about you and for you. I've been discouraged so many times in the past reading the newspapers, watching the first few minutes of TV, listening to the first few minutes of a radio program. The news is always discouraging and depressing. There are problems throughout the world, and that's part of life. But when I look at you young people, I see the future. And there's a commercial on TV about a department store, and I truly mean this. When I look at you, I know we're in good hands with you young people, because within this group, we may be seeing another Bob Clark Jr. Within this group, we may be seeing a member of the House, Roy Cornell. Within this group, be you male or female, we may be looking at a state senator. And why not to a presidency of the United States of America? I truly mean that. You're what it's all about. To the special celebrities that came here and stayed, you gave much more than lip service. Dick, I do watch you regularly in the morning. Tony, we're so glad to see you. I had two highlights that I want to bring to your attention when I was a teacher in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia at Bear Junior High School on the Edith B. Hanna, I taught Frankie Avalon. I hope you still remember his name. On the Jackie Gleason show, and I was making $270 a month. Later, I transferred to William Penn Girls High School, where I met Larry Fine's sister, Lila. To know her is to love her. She was as gracious as anybody can be, and her husband advised me tonight, Nate has advised me, that when Lila gave me one of the original Three Stooges comic books, one for each one of my children. They have now grown and valued in excess of $100, and I especially thank you for that. But Lila, more importantly, for the genuine friendship that you bestowed upon me. From there, you went to Olney High School, where you became a head of the math department, and now you're in the throes of enjoying your retirement. And Mazel Tov, may you have many, many years. Again, thank you for the award. Thank you for letting me be here for part of the evening's festivities. God bless each and every one of you. Oh, yeah, you sure did.
There he is. He's skipping up here with it.
I really, I'm so overwhelmed. Jack, would you bring Mommy up here? I'm a little man, but 37 years ago when I met this young lady, she made me feel like a giant. I want her to share the evening.
Okay, now we get to our last round of awards, and let me explain what those are. These are called the Special Service Awards, and I explain these to the kids and to the parents. And what I'd like to ask is, since our celebrity guests assisted with the first ones, I'd like to ask Mr. Platt and Mr. Masucci if they would assist in the presentation with this. Mr. Peterson and Mr. Rooney will help with the distribution. And while those things are going on, let me explain this. These awards are not presented to every boy or girl who is here tonight. They recognize efforts that were conducted during the past year. And as Mr. Platt indicated to you, that our program has not changed too much since he was involved, that some of the kids who are seated here tonight not only have come in on Wednesdays or Saturdays, but have become, it's so easy to say when you have teeth, have been involved in projects that have brought them in on Friday nights or Saturdays, or have helped us in so many other respects. And we acknowledge that extra effort with what we call the Special Service Award. And it reads ever so quickly: for exceptional devotion to the enduring ideals of Cinekyd through your dedicated labors, you have brought forth excellence. Your creativity, perseverance, and generosity have earned our gratitude and given life to Cinekyd's philosophy, each one reach one. Now, there's one other thing, which I'm going to ask that the gentleman point out to you, and that's the fact that certain of these certificates have these gold seals. Now, when Mr. Platt was a kid, he was elevated to the stature that these young people are there. We now call them Cineteam. In the old days, they used to be called contractors, the best of our best. Correct? For some of our kids, it's the first opportunity for them to earn some money by using their talents. It's one of the most creative work-study programs in the area. You will see some of those which acknowledge not only voluntary efforts, but distinguished service, okay? I have one final thing to say before they start presenting these. None of this program, as I alluded to, would ever be possible were it not for the incredible contribution of the Cinekyd staff, many of whom are members of my family, and for those who are not working or in a position where they can't stand up, I would appreciate it if all of the members, as I call your name, if you would stand up so we could acknowledge you parents who are out there. The one thing, especially if you're new to the program, we don't pay these people. Okay? Honest to God, we don't pay anybody. Like Scouts, Little League, Sunday school teaching. For 15 years, we have asked people to come in after work on weekends and nights to be with us, to be with children out of the goodness of their heart. Some of these people, like old school teachers, have been with me for a long time. In fact, so long that they're now older than I am. But they are marvelous. They are my family. They are my best friends. They are your children's best friends. And I hope to God someday that I will find a way to properly reward them. And let me call these names out. Some you have seen, but I want to say them all. Mr. Tim Bancroft, Mr. Joe Rooney, there's Timmy, there's Joe. This is my daughter, Miss Becky Clark. Might as well do it. Here's Mom and Dad. You want to stand up? Here's my parents. That's our mailing committee. All the stuff that gets mailed out, see? I get my mom and dad to come in and lick the stamps and all that kind of, because they work for free, too. And my mother frequently brings food over. Mr. John Peterson, our author in residence. Where is the chairman of our board, Mrs. Jean Weaver? Did she go home? There she is, Mrs. Jean Weaver. Jean's was the funniest story of all. Her kids were in the program years ago, and they left and went on to other things, and their mother stayed. It's fantastic. All right, back at the switcher, the coordinator of all of our catering liaison, and back again to handle all of our TV tech requirements, who's been with me since he was 11 years old, Mr. Dan Oceanreither. And our college guy, where is our photographer and our drummer and our resident bon vivant, Mr. David Trachtenberg. Over here with a camera, this is my pal, my buddy, the youngest of my boys, and we always look nice when we go out together in tuxes. This is old Tom McGill. Where's the guy who was attacked by the dog? Where's Randy? Randy, where are you? There he is. Stand up, Randy. Randy Leshevsky. That's the last one here tonight is a fella who has taken absolutely positively more abuse because he has to listen to all of my theories about what's wrong with education, teaching, and kids today. He has been with me the longest time. Very few people are lucky to have such a good friend and a great pal, Mr. Ralph Abbott. And let me, before they start the awards, over at this table, the guy who has enjoyed the band more than anybody, and when I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together, I had a rented crud hole of an office and a dream of Cinekyd, and there was only one guy that I took to lunch, and the God's truth was, I think he even picked up the tab. He had been my professor at college. He was my mentor, my inspiration. He is still one of the most enthusiastic teachers and one of the most inspirational people that I've ever known, Dr. Roger Gordon. Stand up, Roger.
He only does this because the lights are hot. Bob, did you read the... Okay, I must have been asleep again.
Not well, but I did.
Did it better than I did. Okay, the Special Service Award. Brett Cole. Will Fulmer. Ari Greenberg. Adam Keene. Craig Mattis. Keith Dunkerley. Jeff Feldman. Andrew Ferguson. Jake Fogelnest. Chris Frawley. Jason Frawley. Adam Goldberg. Frank Keating. Casey Kuhn. Scott Lazar. Patrick Layden. Larry Lieberson. Hal Lublin. Matt McAlpin. Eben McNamara. Sorry, that's Evan. These are written in script, so sometimes it's difficult for me to see the letters. Justin Medeiros. Daniel Alexia. David Rooney. Ryan Schlegel. David Simon. Allison Simonetta. John Simonetta. Claire Weichert. applause for all the recipients.
That's it. Good night and God bless. Thank you very much.